8th, 2016 marks the date of the greatest political upset of all time. For more than 20 years, the working class has been feeling the effects of the extreme economic policies of neoliberalism and extreme heightened form of free market capitalism in which rich, powerful business interests get the most of government policies. The Trump campaign represented the anger of millions of the working class. He seemed like a protest vote against the corrupt corporate ruling class who had been crushing the working class for decades. I'm sure we all know people who voted for Donald Trump. Mothers, fathers, grandparents, friends. You say these people are just racist and hateful. It could be true. But that is not the case for most who voted for Donald Trump. We must remember that Hillary Clinton represents Wall Street elites, big business, supports war volunteers, and free trade policies that have screwed over workers for the past 20 years. Trump was the anger grenade that was being thrown at the establishment. Trump wanted to bring us home from the wars and rebuild our infrastructure. No more of this political correctness and elitism. Here was someone who was speaking the truth, or as they all thought. On January 20th, 2017, the populist rhetoric filled his inauguration speech. During his inauguration speech, President Trump said, and I quote, "Today, we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. Politicians prospered, but the jobs left and the factories closed. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. Their victories have not been your victories. Their triumphs have not been your triumphs. And while they celebrated our nation's capital, there was little to celebrate for struggling families all across our land. That all changes starting right here and right now. Because this is your moment. It belongs to you. It belongs to everyone gathered here today and everyone watching all across America. This is your day. This is your celebration. And this is the United States of America. It's your country. What truly matters is not which party controls our government, but whether our government is controlled by the people." End quote. The promise was very clear. The swamp was to be drained. But what happened after Donald Trump took office? He sacked his cabinet with business elites, from Betsy DeVos, who doesn't believe in public education, as Secretary of Education, or the king of bankruptcy, Wilbur Ross, who was worth $687 million. His cabinet included Goldman Sachs bankers Gary Cohn and Steven Mnuchin. After Trump railed Hillary Clinton for being too close with Goldman Sachs, Trump also put ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State. The cabinet's combined wealth is over $5 billion, which makes them the richest cabinet of all time. In the past, people put in cabinets had ties to certain industries they were going to do favors for. Now Trump has removed the middleman and put the corruptor in power. The corruptor is out of the cabinet. Unless the people are super wealthy capitalists, Donald Trump isn't giving anything back to the people. Trump continued to do the bidding of corporations by advancing the construction of the Keystone XL pipeline, throwing the planet and climate change under the bus for the profit of oil companies. Trump also wants to encourage charter schools, again, going along with the old neoliberal for-profit idea that everything must be prioritized and given over to unaccountable private tyrannies. To go even further, Trump has passed his 7th executive order, which for every new regulation put in place, 2 must be proposed to be eliminated. This is just, again, deregulate everything so that businesses can make as much money as possible at the expense of whatever. Workers, the environment, the community not matter as long as money is being made and put in the pockets of stockholders and CEOs. The Trump regime then went on to dismantle and kill the Dodd-Frank Act, the banking regulation that was not strong enough, that was put in after the 2008 Great Recession. This is again laws that will benefit just Wall Street. H.J. Res 41 that was signed into law also slashed the rule that companies need to disclose the deals they were making with foreign governments and access to natural resources in order to stop suspicious business actions. This is again neoliberal capitalism on steroids. Trump, with his 13th executive order, attacked regulations even further by creating a regulatory reform officer position to make sure that the agencies were complying with its regulation-slashing actions. In Executive Order 14, Trump slashed away environmental regulations in the waters of the United States rule, again pushing the environmental side for corporate profits. Let's not forget its dismantling of the Stream Protection Rule, which no longer protects 6,000 miles of streams and 2,000 acres of forest from environmental destruction and degradation. This means giant coal companies can create more profit for CEOs and stockholders, not jobs. The myth that is constantly pushed, because companies don't have to worry about these rules that cost them money. The Trump regime also opened up the Arctic Sea, the Atlantic Ocean, and the Gulf of Mexico to offshore drilling. Again, throwing all environmental needs to the side. While extending corporate profits and making the rich richer, Trump continued to demonize immigrants and Muslims. Trump went on to do the demagogue's work by attacking sanctuary cities and blaming immigrants and poor people for the problems in society. On January 25th, Trump signed a bill to put a border wall along Mexico. He passed his strict travel ban to, quote, protect the nation from foreign terrorist entry. It banned travel to Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen. Well, basically, any country the United States was bombing. On the second passing of its law, it was changed to make it seem as if it was more about security. Iraq was removed to make it seem as if it was not about nationality. Based on what we know, though, it is all about nationality. Again, on the campaign trail, Trump wanted to ban Muslims from entering the country. This law just makes it harder for the citizens of the 6 countries who want to travel to the United States to escape the war and carnage the United States has been and is still causing in their countries. The Trump regime is doing what any conservative does. Cut taxes on the rich who are their donors, and cut social services for the poor. They got 13% cut for housing, a 12.7% cut to the Department of Transportation, a 16% cut to health and human services, and a 13.5% cut to education, with 20 programs being eliminated. Lastly, the EPA got a 31.4% cut, while at the same time, Trump is expanding the military budget to about $700 billion. A military budget that is already much larger than any other nation on earth. This is the implications of empire. These wars we are fighting are for nothing. We have nothing to gain. The only people who have anything to gain from these wars is the rich and powerful business interests. It is the imperialism of this Trump regime that has caused him to continue and expand the Afghanistan war. Another war that is for nothing with the economic interests of the wealthy and powerful businesses. They are throwing people's children in harm's way for profit and expansion. It is for nothing else. It is the idea of American exceptionalism and superiority that the Trump regime has embraced. That being tough and strong, that more war and being militaristically aggressive is cool and the right thing to do. When in reality it means nothing. All of America's enemies are people who have stood up against the empire and not given in to the economic demand of this empire's wealthy elites. Venezuela, Iran, Syria, North Korea, Palestine, and any other country that stands against this empire will be threatened, demonized, infiltrated, and if all else fails, attacked. Nationalism, racism, chauvinism, sexism, religious fundamentalism, fear. These These are all ways of appealing to people if you're trying to gain mass support for policies that are intended to crush them. That is what this Trump regime is. Trump is what any president has ever been. The CEO of the American regime and empire. Trump is a symptom of the problem. What is the problem? It is an economic system that puts profit over need, profit over the environment, and profit over well-being. It is a broken political system where elites and wealthy business owners have significantly more influence than the average person. What we want is not a different president who will take his place and do the same things. What we want is a fundamental change to this system. It's not going to come from an election every 4 years. It's going to come from the masses of people who organize and struggle to bring change. And that's what we are doing here today.